What do you guys think about, introducing ghost hunting into like a scouting aspect as far as learning history and things of that nature? I have a summer camp that I've gone to really all my life since I was 6 years old, and it has sort of a haunted kind of a background to it that nobody really talks about. They're all really hush-hush about it. But they're trying now to incorporate ghost hunting into like what they're doing. I don't want to give out any names, but some people are really uneasy about it. What do you guys think about, introducing ghost hunting into like a scouting aspect as far as learning history and things of that nature?
Well, I personally don't see any problem with it. I actually encourage organizations to use the paranormal as a tool to teach history, to use it as a way to get especially young kids to not only appreciate their history, but to have a respect for some of the places that are out there that are reflective of that history. So, for example, we have the Freetown State Forest near here, where there's a lot of paranormal stuff that goes on in there. And part of teaching people about that is also teaching them that when you go there, you respect the forest and you're reverential to the forest and you take care of the forest. So I think incorporating that with scouts is a great idea, because you're already teaching them to be responsible. You're already teaching them to be stewards of these places that they're going and visiting. And at the same time, you can use it as a way to make what might not grab their interest from an educational perspective. You found a way to now make it interesting, so they're going to pay attention, and they're going to not only retain that information, but they're going to go out and they're going to share it with people, friends of theirs who are not scouts. So they're going to go and they're going to tell these ghost stories with this historical information to other kids that they see in school.
Definitely. And that would in turn actually sort of make our organization grow.
But
that interest alive.
There is a lot of concern, though, because there's still that mindset that
it's
telling
a little taboo,
right? I mean, but isn't telling ghost stories part of scouts for
And that's my opinion. I mean, I've sort of introduced it gradually to them. Again, I'm from Virginia, so during our last couple of years of summer camp, we would take a select group of scouts over to Colonial Williamsburg and do a ghost tour there. And so we do that, and we haven't really had any complaints about that. But now we're actually sort of really looking into that whole aspect of Virginia's a very haunted place, and could we really incorporate that with the scouting aspect?
I mean, I think it's a great idea, and I think that the kids will enjoy it, and I think that it will only help to, because you can tell them all these stories, you can tell them all the historical information you want, but it doesn't always sink in.
That also leads into a portion of scouting is, researching and learning, and there's even like a historian merit badge.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Especially when
that could all be incorporated.
I mean, you could not to tell you how to do the job of teaching the kids, but, you could tell them, say, hey, here is this, here's this ghostly legend from this area. I want you to research it. I want you to find out all the historical information, and I want you to write the ghost story, but I want you to include all that information. So I can just tell you that I do a stage show with some friends of ours where we have to do that exact thing, research the ghost stories and actually craft our own versions of the legends. And that makes it stand out in my mind way better than anything that I've, researched just for a nonfiction purpose. Having to craft that story around it actually helps me retain the info, and maybe that'll work the same for the kids.
Indeed. I completely agree.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call, and let us know how it works out. Keep us up to date on it.
Definitely. Thank you guys for everything you do, and I look forward to hearing more.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night.
You too.
508-996-0500, and that would probably be the only merit badge I would ever earn if I was a scout, because I'm not really very outdoorsy. I mean, I like camping and all that stuff, but...
Well, I think it's a novel idea. Yes, it definitely teaches them how to do research and stuff like that, and get a better appreciation of history. But the scouts being an outdoor activity, centralized theme behind them, I would figure, why not a Bigfoot patch?
Sure. I mean, I think anything that you are doing that keeps them outside, keeps them active, and keeps them not just in the moment, but also going back and looking into the why and the how
Yep.
is a good thing. The biggest complaint that I have about and we've gone into an argument about this numerous times on the show over the years, is that historical educational curriculums don't focus enough on their local history. You can go to school for 12 years or 13 years, whatever it is, kindergarten through 12th grade.
Yeah.
So you can go to school your entire academic career in one single town and never learn anything about your own town's history in all of those years, because the curriculum that they're giving you is teaching you, well, you're going to start with, American history. You're going to start with the colonial era and work your way up to today. And then when you get into high school, you'll take some world history classes, but you never really get the chance to learn about your community's history and to learn about some of the especially here. I mean, I know it's not the same for everywhere, but we're in the area that the English first, secondly came and settled. And
The English, yes.
right. So our history, even when we learn it from a local perspective, they're still starting with 1620. They're not. I never learned as a kid in school that the English had been here before 1620. I learned that as an adult later on, or maybe in college.
But you didn't get taught
wasn't-
about Jamestown?
No, here. That they didn't come to Plymouth. I didn't learn that they came to Plymouth prior to 1620.
Okay.
I didn't learn that there had been an actual back and forth from this area with England, and then the Pilgrims came here and settled here. Well, not Plymouth, but Massachusetts.
Okay.
I didn't realize that they had been coming back and forth. So for example, I know that Squanto had gone to England, but I didn't know that they had come years prior to the Pilgrims landing, kidnapped Squanto, taken him to England, so it's things like that, little aspects of that history that we didn't learn in school, that it was kind of up to me to find out later on my own. And that's a huge disservice, because you're not teaching. You have the history right there to teach the kids. They take the kids. We're going to be doing an event next month at the Fearing Tavern in Wareham. They take the school kids on a field trip there, and they have them walk through, and they tell them a little bit about it. But Wareham history is not a big part of the school curriculum. You learn a lot of that stuff on your own, reading books later on.
I gotcha.
And so that's always been one of my biggest pet peeves, is that the way that history's curriculum is designed in schools, because the standardized testing that they're making all the kids take now isn't standardized if it has to have the Wareham kids focus with questions on Wareham questions, and the Plymouth kids focus with Plymouth questions, and Des Moines kids have to answer Des Moines questions. So it makes it harder to centralize everything and to standardize everything. But that is your best chance to get excited for history, is to see what history is around you.